Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project we're going to make a gorgeous birthday card using lots of Anna Griffin goodies. Everything I do use I'll put in the detailed description on my blog. You can always find me on Facebook if you've got any issues. If you've made any projects of mine, please let me know because I love hearing from you. Comments are still suspended on YouTube for the simple reason they keep deleting my replies when you've messaged me or commented. I can't reply to you. So don't be thinking I'm being rude on YouTube by turning them off, but I would be even ruder not to be able to comment back. So you can always get in touch with me on my blog as well. So the first thing that we're going to need is our base card. So this is a 7x5" card. It's my favourite size to work with. Ignore the pencil marks at the moment. I will explain those a little bit later. So this is a landscape folded card. It's in ivory and I shall show you how it looks on our cardometer. So there it sits nicely, just smaller than the A5 in size and just a little bit bigger than the A6. I know across the pond these measurements are called something different. I think this is an A3 and this is an A2. So, but it's just to give you an idea at home and put it in perspective for you what size I'm using. You might decide to use it a different size. So this is our card, and the first thing I'm going to use is my Anna Griffin bone folder because I want to make sure I've got a nice sharp crease along the edge. Even though the factory that made this and cut it and scored it has put it in there, it just gives it a more professional finish and it helps with the, I think, the overall look of the card. So we're going to do the inside of the card first. Now this is a very simple card and I must admit my Xyron machine has really helped out with this card. However, you don't need one, you could use it without. So for the inside, what I've done, now I've put this all through the Xyron, so bear with me because I'm going to peel my top layer off. I've already been round the edges to make sure the adhesive doesn't stick. So we'll just get rid of that top layer. And the first thing I did, because I wanted to put the whole thing through, normally I use double-sided tape, and I thought I'm going to put the whole thing through just to show you that you can. You might think it's a waste. If you're making a quick card, it's ideal. So say somebody knocks at the door and you've forgotten them and you have to run to your craft room while somebody keeps them talking, it's perfect. So I've put the whole thing through, and what I've done, it was a matten layer for the inside of the card. I've stamped it using one of Anna's 22 clear birthday stamps, and then I've used one of the dies, the long SwallowTail from Paper Tricks 2, to cut out a section at the side of the greeting so you can see where the gap is. So then, now this card actually is good for scraps, so then I've used both the large and the small of the die, and I've used papers from the Rose collection from Anna, and that sits nicely in the gap. And then I've cut a smaller one as well from the dies from Paper Tricks 2, and I'm just going to put that over the top, and that is our insert finished. Very quick and easy. If it wasn't for me twittering on, you would have had that done in 2 minutes. So now for the front of the card. Now this is where we're going to have a little bit of fun because we need to do quite a bit of die cutting for the front of this. Now the first thing I'm going to add is some metallic black cardstock. Now I've slightly trimmed it because I wanted a section for the top of the card. So what I've done is I've cut it to size and I'm going to put it to the bottom of the card, right to the edge to edge like that. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to have to trim that little bit. There we go. Oops. Oh, and because I'm human, I'm going to cough. I'm sorry. So, it's all the talking I do, you see. It's all the projects that I film in one go. And then all of a sudden I start and I think, oh, I've got a dry throat. And I can't stop and go, oh, cheers, I'll just have a drink while we're filming. So, next what I've done from Paper Tricks 2, again, I've used my Super Xyron machine with this. Because I thought, you know, I always use the double-sided tape. And it would be fun to use it just for something to make from scratch, really. So I've already been round all the edges, and I'm going to pull the top layer away from all this. So here I've got 5 strips I've used from the rose paper, and from Paper Tricks 2 there's a really long rectangle that you use to make your paper rosettes and cut out different things. So I've used that to cut out 5 strips. As I said, I'm going to peel them all off from the Xyron sheet. And where I've pencil marked at the top, it's because I'm a cheat. And I wanted to make sure that I was going to get these in the right place without anybody saying, oh, you haven't got them straight, because I know you're all very eagle-eyed. So I wanted to try and get them as straight as I could. So it's just a little bit of a cheat guide for me. We're not going to see the pencil lines when we're done, but it saves me sort of hovering and thinking, oh, where's it going to go, where's it going to go. So just in general, at home, you'll be able to, if you want to do it precisely, you can. If you want to take time and trouble over it and then start moving them like me and trying to get them a bit straighter. So, but don't worry about it. So then, put the last one on, like that. As I say, we're not going to see the pencil lines, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we've got 5 strips on our card. Next, what we've got is 5 of the double swallowtails. And I'm simply going to add these over the top of the strips that we've just added. On the back of them, I've got double-sided tape at one side and flat tape at the other. There we go. So we're just going to add the 5 on top of the previous strips, like that. I'm not actually putting them in any order. All I know is I want the 2 black in the middle. Oh, that's worked out quite well actually with the colours. I wasn't kind of lucky. So now we've got 5 strips of the double swallowtails. Next, using one of Anna's embossing folders, I've embossed from the Artful Patterns range the Vintage Hydrangea onto pink metallic cardstock. And I put it through the Xyron machine because I wanted to show you that it doesn't damage the embossing when you put it through the machine. It stays as perfect as when you first embossed it. It doesn't squash it, it doesn't have any effect on it, it just adds the adhesive on the back, which you would expect. So that's our embossed strip. Next, do you remember when I put the black base on, I said I trimmed the top section for something. Well, I trimmed it, and this is what I wanted it for, because I want to use it as a border. So again, from the Rose collection, I've cut a strip, and I'm going to pop that on top of the black to make a gorgeous border strip. And then I can peel it all off and add this just underneath our embossing, like that, and add that to our card, trying to get it nice and straight. There we go. Next, from Anna's favourite stickers collection, I've got a nice birthday sentiment, and it says birthday wishes, and it's in the shape with a swallowtail. And I'm just going to add that to one side, like that. Just got a little bit of glue on it, take that away. And then to finish it off, I've got a little pink bow. Now, you could either add the bow at the top or at the bottom. I think the bottom looks good, but I don't want to cover the tails up, so I'm a little bit in two minds whether to put this at the top or the bottom. So for now, I'm just going to add it at the top. But it's up to you, it's personal preference. But I do think it looks quite good underneath as well. So you might see a different photo. I might change my mind. The woman's prerogative. And that's our card finished. And I think it's just such a pretty card. We've done die cutting, we've got embossing, we've got everything you could possibly want on that card. And I know on the camera the border's not looking straight, but it is, because we can measure it against the lines. We can see it goes from that line to that line. Anyway, so that's me being a perfectionist, sorry. That is just such a pretty card. And the inside, it's not too much, but it matches the outside with the tails. It stands up nicely. It'll go on any mantelpiece. And it'll go in any normal envelope, because you've only really got one layer of foam. So you won't need any special packaging. I just think that's pretty, really pretty, something a little bit different. I do hope you've enjoyed watching. Please check my blog for many other projects. If this one isn't your cup of tea, there's bound to be one on there that is, because I've got over 300 projects now and they're all different. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.